After repeatedly slamming Hillary Clinton for her email scandal throughout the campaign, it looks like Vice President-elect Mike Pence is in a little bit of an email controversy of his own. He's fighting to keep an email secret that discusses President Obama's executive actions on immigration. CBS News Justice reporter Paula Reed has the actual court documents from this case, and she joins us now. So, Paula, what can you tell us?
At the heart of this case, Vlad, is a document that lays out ways to bring legal challenges against the president's executive action on immigration. As you may remember, a coalition of states came together to challenge Obamacare, to challenge executive action on immigration, and then eventually also to challenge the administration on transgender rights. A man filed a public records request asking for more documents, more information about why the state of Indiana joined this coalition. He received quite an extensive amount of materials, but he did not get this specific so-called white paper laying out the theories that they were going to use to bring this challenge. And he also received some material that he said was redacted. So he sued to get it. But the court sided with then Governor Mike Pence, saying that he has deference to say what is and is not a public record. But this man has appealed that ruling, saying that's a very dangerous precedent to set for the court to just defer to the executive branch on what is and is not public record.
So, Paula, Hillary Clinton, as we all know, used a private email server. But was this email on Pence's regular public work email? And what are the main differences there?
So the infamous homebrew server that Secretary Clinton chose to use gave rise to two massive controversies. The first, of course, was whether or not classified information was mishandled when she chose to use that private server. The FBI investigated, and they determined that it was not in any criminal way mishandled. That is not what we're dealing with here. The other controversy, though, was whether having a private server made it easier to sort of keep documents from the public and have more control over what was and was not released, sort of an issue of transparency. And that's the comparison that is made here. Her controversy gave rise to dozens of lawsuits, people seeking those records. And Vlad, every time they sort of closed it and said, we've given you everything, they'd find new emails and have to reopen those lawsuits, and it became death by 1,000 cuts in terms of transparency. This is just one lawsuit so far, but the governor and his team, his transition team, they're going to need to decide whether or not they really want to go to the mats on this or continue to have similar questions about transparency in emails.
Yeah, so I guess that's my question. What does this mean for the future of the administration, especially when oral arguments are expected to be heard in Indianapolis next week?
That's right. The appeal will be heard next week, and the administration is going to have to decide. They have a lot of active litigation, particularly President-elect Trump. He has several lawsuits, and he's going to need to decide whether or not he should drop some lawsuits that he's brought, pay money to settle them, or not bring new ones. And Governor Pence is also going to have to make that same decision here. Does he want to have his name in the headlines, sort of issues of transparency, issues of emails? 5-6 years ago, if you were talking about litigating over emails, I don't think people would have been very interested. But because of what happened to Secretary Clinton, suddenly this issue of emails, public records, and transparency, it's taken on sort of a heightened status in terms of all the lawsuits that the president will inevitably face. They just have to decide if this is one they really want to fight.
All right, Paula Reed reporting for us in Washington. Thank you, Paula. Appreciate it.